1 opens with the sudden shock that rippled through Ukraine's political landscape the moment the news broke. Andriy Yermak, one of the most powerful figures in the country, had stepped down. For years, he wasn't just a chief of staff, he was the president's closest advisor, a strategist, a negotiator, and the person many believed held more influence than most ministers. His resignation didn't feel like a routine political change, it felt like the collapse of a pillar inside the Ukrainian presidency. Inside Kyiv, officials described an atmosphere of confusion and disbelief. No one expected such a swift and dramatic fall from power. For weeks, rumors had been circulating about investigations inside the energy sector, but few thought the probe would reach the president's inner circle, especially someone as central as Yermak. When the National Anti-Corruption Bureau launched a formal case and investigators arrived at his residence, it signaled that this was more serious than political gossip. Global media outlets framed it as a major turning point. International analysts pointed out that Yermak had shaped Ukraine's wartime diplomacy, overseen key security decisions, and coordinated directly with Western leaders. Losing such a central figure, especially while the country remains in conflict, raised immediate questions. Was this a sign of democratic accountability, or a sign of political instability? Was the resignation purely legal, or were deeper political rivalries now surfacing? Season 1 captures the tense atmosphere of the first 48 hours. The uncertainty, the rapid reactions from allies, the shock expressed across Ukrainian institutions, and the sudden realization that the presidency had entered one of its most unpredictable moments since the beginning of the war. Season 2 dives into the heart of the unfolding crisis, beginning with the dramatic escalation of the corruption probe. What had started as a quiet investigation into irregularities within the energy sector suddenly evolved into a full-scale operation that placed Andriy Yermak at the center of national attention. Anti-corruption officers arrived at multiple locations simultaneously: Yermak's private residence, his official office, and the homes of senior energy officials, signaling that this was no longer just an administrative review, but a high-level, politically charged confrontation. Inside Kyiv's government buildings, the mood shifted from shock to strategic panic. Yermak was not an ordinary official, he was the president's top negotiator in international peace talks, a key liaison with the United States, and the architect of several wartime policies. His involvement in any investigation automatically raised the stakes. Diplomats privately admitted that the timing could not have been worse. Major discussions with U.S. envoys and European partners were approaching, and Yermak had been expected to lead them. As details leaked to the press, commentators began debating not just the investigation itself, but what forces might truly be behind it. Some saw the probe as a genuine effort to fight corruption in wartime, a demonstration that Ukraine refuses to compromise its anti-corruption commitments even under pressure. Others believed the move had political fingerprints on it, pointing to rival factions within Kyiv who may have viewed Yermak's growing power as a threat. Meanwhile, NABU investigators continued gathering documents, interviewing witnesses, and expanding the list of individuals connected to the case. Each new development intensified public tension. Rumors spread across social media, opposition politicians demanded explanations, and Ukraine's international partners voiced concern over potential instability within the presidential office. Season 2 reveals how a single raid escalated into a national political crisis, affecting diplomacy, reshaping alliances inside Kyiv, and putting Ukraine's anti-corruption institutions under the global spotlight. Season 3 delves deeper into the widening political and legal crisis triggered by Andriy Yermak's resignation. As investigators intensify their work, new layers of alleged misconduct begin to surface, drawing in multiple government departments and raising concerns about systemic corruption at the highest levels. Leaked documents published by independent media outlets claim that several senior officials within the presidential administration may have been involved in approving questionable contracts, suggesting Yermak may not have acted alone. While none of these allegations have yet been proven in court, the public demand for transparency grows stronger each day. Political pressure mounts as opposition leaders accuse the government of trying to minimize the scandal to protect key figures. Protests emerge in several major cities, with citizens calling for accountability, open investigations, and a complete restructuring of the president's inner circle. International observers also begin to weigh in, urging Ukraine to uphold the rule of law and maintain trust with global partners. Analysts warn that if the situation continues to escalate, it could impact Ukraine's political stability and weaken public confidence in the leadership at a crucial moment. In response to the mounting tensions, the government attempts to reassure the public by promising an independent and thorough investigation led by anti-corruption bodies. The president makes a brief televised appearance, stressing that no one, regardless of rank, will be shielded from scrutiny. However, critics argue that without concrete actions and visible progress in the case, these assurances may not be enough to restore public faith. Season 3 captures the intensity, uncertainty, and growing national anxiety as the scandal expands beyond one resignation and threatens to reshape the country's political landscape. Season 4 focuses on the aftermath of the investigation and the broader impact of Andriy Yermak's resignation on Ukraine's political future. As anti-corruption agencies finalize their reports, key findings begin to emerge indicating several irregularities in the allocation of government contracts during Yermak's tenure. While the courts prepare to review the evidence, the scandal forces a major internal reshuffle within the president's administration. Several high-ranking officials either resign voluntarily or are dismissed in an attempt to restore public trust and demonstrate a commitment to reform. The political landscape shifts dramatically as public debate intensifies. Citizens, activists, and analysts demand long-term structural changes rather than temporary fixes. Calls grow louder for strengthening oversight institutions, increasing transparency in public spending, and reducing presidential influence over major administrative decisions. International partners closely observe the situation, emphasizing that genuine reforms are essential for continued diplomatic and financial support. The crisis becomes a test of Ukraine's determination to fight corruption at all levels. Meanwhile, the president introduces a series of new policies aimed at rebuilding credibility. These include mandatory financial audits for senior officials, stricter procurement rules, and expanded powers for the National Anti-Corruption Bureau. Public reaction remains mixed. Some view these initiatives as meaningful steps forward, while others believe they are reactive measures taken only because the scandal escalated. As political tensions slowly begin to ease, a sense of cautious optimism emerges. By the end of the season, Ukraine stands at a crossroads. The country faces the challenge of learning from the crisis and ensuring it becomes a turning point toward greater accountability. Though the scandal has shaken the administration, it also creates an opportunity for national renewal. Season 4 concludes with the nation watching closely, hopeful that this moment of crisis will lead to lasting reform and a stronger democratic future.